As a brain doctor, I'm shocked. This seed raises stroke risk overnight. Every morning, millions of seniors sprinkle seeds onto their cereal, yogurt, or oatmeal, thinking they are making the healthiest choice. But as a brain doctor, I'm here to warn you, some of these tiny foods are silently raising your blood pressure, thickening your blood, and setting the stage for a stroke that could change your life overnight. Seeds may look harmless, natural, and even recommended by many diets, but what I discovered in recent studies shocked me. Some seeds carry hidden dangers that affect seniors over 60 far more severely than younger people. Because your arteries, blood vessels, and brain tissue don't respond the same way anymore. That's why today we're going to expose 5 common seeds that can quietly raise your stroke. Risks starting from the least harmful and ending with the most dangerous one. Stay with me, because number 1 is something almost every senior has in their kitchen right now, and you need to know the truth before your next breakfast. Seed number 5. Sunflower seeds might look innocent. A simple, crunchy snack often eaten at ball games or sprinkled over salads. But for seniors over 60, they can turn into a silent danger that builds up with every handful. The biggest hidden threat is sodium. A single small bag of roasted, salted sunflower seeds can deliver over 2,000 milligrams of sodium, nearly a full day's allowance for an older adult in one sitting. That sodium doesn't just make you thirsty. It pulls water into your bloodstream, raising your blood volume and forcing your heart and arteries to work harder than they should. Over time, this constant strain weakens the delicate vessel walls in your brain, making them prone to rupture. That's why high-salt diets are directly tied to strokes in seniors. But sodium is just the beginning. Sunflower seeds are also loaded with omega-6 fatty acids. While omega-6 is not inherently harmful, the American diet already tilts heavily toward omega-6 at the expense of omega-2-3. Sometimes at ratios of 20:1, when the ideal balance is closer to 2:1. This imbalance fuels chronic inflammation, the kind that slowly eats away at artery walls and accelerates plaque buildup. Those plaques narrow the very highways that deliver oxygen-rich blood to your brain, raising the risk of clot-related strokes. On top of that, many sunflower seed brands coat their product with artificial flavorings, trans fats, and chemical preservatives to enhance taste and shelf life. These additives only add to the inflammatory burden on your blood vessels. When you combine excess salt, inflammatory oils, and chemical additives with a natural aging process, stiffer arteries, reduced kidney function, and slower vessel repair, you create the perfect storm. Seniors who eat sunflower seeds regularly often report dizziness, fatigue, irregular heartbeat, and in some cases, sudden blood pressure surges. And in the brain, even a single surge or clot can spell catastrophe overnight. What feels like a harmless snack today could quietly be laying the groundwork for tomorrow's emergency. Better tip: if you enjoy sunflower seeds, choose raw and unsalted varieties, and keep your portion to a small handful once in a while, not a daily habit. Better still, replace them with pumpkin seeds or walnuts, which provide magnesium and omega-3 south that help relax blood vessels and protect the brain. Seed number 4. Flax seeds are often praised as a superfood, but for seniors over 60, they can carry risks that most people never hear about. Risks that directly affect the brain and blood vessels. Flax seeds are extremely high in fiber, which is usually considered a good thing. But in older adults with slower digestion or underlying stomach problems, this sudden fiber overload can trigger bloating, constipation, or even intestinal blockages if not consumed with plenty of water. And that blockage isn't just uncomfortable, it can actually interfere with how your body absorbs critical medications, including blood pressure pills and blood thinners that many seniors rely on daily. Even more concerning, flax seeds are rich in compounds called phytoestrogens, plant-based chemicals that mimic estrogen in the body. For younger people, this may not cause much trouble, but for seniors, particularly women after menopause and men with prostate issues, the hormonal effect can lead to imbalances that raise cardiovascular risks. Studies have shown that high doses of flax seeds can thin the blood too much, especially when combined with aspirin or anticoagulant medications. That thinning can cause dangerous internal bleeding, but in some cases, it sets up a paradoxical reaction: clotting instability, where the blood swings between being too thin and suddenly forming sticky clots. In the brain, that instability is a recipe for a stroke. On top of that, flax seeds spoil quickly. Their natural oils oxidize in just days once ground, turning rancid and producing compounds that inflame and irritate blood vessels. Many seniors unknowingly keep bags of ground flax in warm pantries for months, consuming oxidized oils that silently damage the lining of their arteries. Add in the fact that most seniors already have some degree of arterial stiffness, and the risks grow higher. Imagine thinking you're protecting your brain, when in reality, you're quietly fueling inflammation, unstable clotting, and high stroke risk. The tragedy is that so many seniors sprinkle flax seeds daily without realizing the danger, especially if they're already on medication or have circulation issues. Better tip: if you want the benefits of flax seeds, only buy them whole and grind them fresh at home in small amounts, storing leftovers in the refrigerator to slow oxidation. Always drink a full glass of water with them, and if you take blood thinners, talk to your doctor before adding flax to your diet. Safer alternatives for brain and vessel health include chia seeds and walnuts, which don't oxidize as quickly and provide steady, protective omega-3 south. Seed number 3. Sesame seeds may look like the most harmless garnish in the world, sprinkled across hamburger buns, sushi rolls, or baked into crackers. But for seniors over 60, they hide far more risk than most people realize. Sesame seeds are incredibly dense in calories and fats, and while some of those fats are healthy in moderation, the problem comes when seniors unknowingly consume them in concentrated amounts. A couple tablespoons of sesame seeds may not look like much, but they can contain nearly 200 calories and a heavy load of omega-6 fatty acids. Just like sunflower seeds, this excess omega-6 creates an inflammatory imbalance in the body. Chronic inflammation is one of the main drivers of atherosclerosis, the buildup of hardened plaques in the arteries. For a senior with already aging vessels stiffened by decades of wear, even small daily doses of sesame seeds can push the inflammatory burden over the edge, raising the chance of artery-narrowing clots forming right where they can cut off brain circulation. But sesame's risks don't stop there. These seeds are also notorious allergens. Seniors who never had food allergies in youth can suddenly develop them later in life, and sesame allergy often shows up as sudden swelling, dizziness, or a drop in blood pressure, symptoms that can mimic or trigger stroke-like events. Even in non-allergic individuals, sesame seeds contain compounds called lignans, which in high amounts can interfere with the way your liver processes cholesterol and medications. For seniors on statins, blood pressure pills, or anticoagulants, this can mean unpredictable swings in cholesterol, blood clotting ability, and even liver strain. Worse still, sesame seeds are often hidden in foods without clear labeling. That sprinkle on your bread roll or the paste in your hummus may add up quickly. And when eaten late at night, they can cause indigestion, acid reflux, and nighttime spikes in blood pressure, a dangerous combination because most strokes in seniors actually occur during sleep or early morning hours when vessel pressure is unstable. And let's not forget storage. Sesame oils and seeds can go rancid fast. Once rancid, they produce oxidized fats that damage the delicate endothelial lining of blood vessels, increasing the likelihood that plaques will rupture and trigger a stroke. So what seems like a harmless topping at dinner could, over weeks and months, build into a much larger risk that seniors never suspect until it's too late. Better tip: if you enjoy sesame flavor, use toasted sesame oil sparingly and only from fresh, well-sealed bottles stored in a cool place. Limit raw seed intake to very small amounts and avoid eating them daily. Safer options for crunch and flavor include chia seeds or hemp hearts, which provide brain-protective omega-3 south without the high allergenic or acidity risks. Seed number 2. Chia seeds are marketed everywhere today as a miracle food, sprinkled in smoothies, stirred into puddings, even sold as superfood shots at health stores. Younger people often see chia as harmless, but for seniors over 60, the risks are very different and in some cases, shockingly dangerous. The main problem comes from chia's ability to absorb water up to 12 times its weight and swell into a thick gel. While this property is advertised as good for digestion, in older adults with slowed gut motility, weaker swallowing reflexes, or a history of esophageal or intestinal issues, chia can expand before it is properly digested. There are documented cases of chia seeds forming sticky blockages in the throat and intestines, leading to choking emergencies and hospital visits. Imagine eating a spoonful of dry chia, then drinking water. The seeds swell instantly, creating a dangerous gel plug that can cut off airflow or trap medications in the gut. And even when soaked, chia isn't as harmless as it looks. It is extremely high in soluble fiber, which can interfere with absorption of critical medications many seniors depend on, including diabetes drugs, thyroid medications, and anticoagulants. This means a senior might be faithfully taking their pills, but the chia gel binds them in the stomach and prevents them from entering the bloodstream. The consequences can be devastating: uncontrolled blood sugar, irregular heartbeat, or unstable clotting that opens the door to stroke. On top of that, chia seeds are surprisingly high in alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3 that doesn't convert efficiently into the protective EPA and DHA needed for brain health. In fact, some studies link high ALA intake with an increased risk of prostate cancer in men and clotting instability in seniors. The irony is painful. You think you're protecting your brain, when in reality, you're flooding your body with a fatty acid that inflames vessels instead of calming them. And just like flax, chia spoils fast, once ground or soaked and left at room temperature. Chia becomes a breeding ground for bacteria and mold that can trigger food poisoning symptoms, diarrhea, dehydration, and electrolyte imbalances, all of which hit seniors harder than younger adults. Add to this the common practice of mixing chia into sugary yogurts, juices, or sweetened milks, and you now have a cocktail of fiber overload, sugar spikes, and blood pressure swings happening at the very hours when many seniors take their evening medications. Nighttime is the most vulnerable period for strokes. And chia's combined effects on fluid balance, sugar levels, and blood clotting can dramatically increase the risk without any warning. The tragedy is that chia has been so heavily marketed as a superfood that countless seniors eat it daily, never realizing the silent damage it may be causing to their circulation, their medications, and their brain. Better tip: if you want to use chia, never eat it dry. Always soak it thoroughly in water for several hours and consume only small portions, no more than 1 tablespoon at a time. Drink plenty of water alongside it and avoid mixing it with medications. For brain protection, rely instead on fatty fish, walnuts, or pumpkin seeds, which provide more stable and protective omega-3 south without the choking and clotting risks. Seed number 1. Poppy seeds are perhaps the most shocking entry on this list, because they are so often seen as harmless: a sprinkle on a bagel, a dusting on a muffin, or a traditional ingredient in baked goods. But for seniors over 60, poppy seeds carry a hidden danger that can strike suddenly and without warning. They contain trace amounts of natural opiates, including morphine and codeine. While the levels are usually small, in older adults with slower metabolism, reduced kidney and liver function, and multiple medications in their system. Even small amounts of these compounds can linger in the body and amplify dangerous side effects. That means dizziness, slowed reaction time, drowsiness, and in severe cases, respiratory depression, all of which directly raise the risk of stroke or sudden falls. But the danger doesn't stop there. Poppy seeds are also dense in oxalates, compounds that contribute to kidney stones and can interfere with calcium balance. Seniors who already struggle with weakened bones or osteoporosis may unknowingly worsen their condition by consuming too many poppy seed-laden baked goods. The oxalates also promote vascular calcification, the hardening of arteries that makes them brittle and prone to rupture. And remember, once an artery in the brain ruptures, the resulting hemorrhagic stroke is often fatal. On top of that, commercially available poppy seeds are often contaminated with opiate residues from harvesting. Some batches contain concentrations high enough to cause positive drug tests, which shows just how much your body is absorbing. For seniors on medications like blood thinners, sedatives, or painkillers, this interaction can destabilize the blood's clotting ability. Too much thinning, and you risk dangerous internal bleeding. Too little, and the blood becomes sticky, laying the groundwork for clots that cut off oxygen to the brain. Even something as ordinary as a breakfast poppy seed roll, eaten with morning coffee and blood pressure pills, can trigger a chain reaction. The seeds interact with your meds, your blood pressure spikes, your vessels constrict, and the brain suddenly faces a crisis. And unlike flax or chia, poppy seeds are not consumed in tiny doses only. Many baked goods contain tablespoons worth, meaning seniors often get a concentrated hit without even realizing it. The false sense of safety is the most dangerous part, because few people would ever believe a muffin topping could raise their stroke risk. Yet for older adults with vulnerable brains and arteries, that risk is frighteningly real. Better tip: if you enjoy baked goods, choose those without poppy seeds or limit them to rare occasions. Opt for whole grain breads topped with oats, pumpkin seeds, or sesame alternatives instead. For brain health, focus on foods rich in magnesium and omega-3 south-like leafy greens, walnuts, and fatty fish. These strengthen vessel walls and lower stroke risk instead of silently raising it. When you step back and look at the full picture, it becomes clear how something so small and ordinary could become a silent danger for seniors over 60. Seeds have been sold to us as the ultimate health boosters, sprinkled on salads, baked into breads, stirred into smoothies, yet each one hides a risk that grows larger with age. Sunflower seeds pack sodium and inflammatory fats that push blood pressure higher and higher. Flax seeds spoil quickly, interfere with crucial medications, and destabilize clotting. Sesame seeds inflamed blood vessels and can trigger sudden allergic reactions in people who never had allergies before. Chia seeds swell and clog, binding medications and creating unpredictable swings in blood sugar and clotting stability. And poppy seeds, the most surprising of all, carry opiate residues and oxalates that weaken vessels and destabilize the brain's blood supply. On their own, each danger might look small, but together they form a pattern, one that quietly chips away at the brain's safety. Seniors already live with arteries that are less flexible, kidneys that filter more slowly, and hearts that tire more quickly. Add in the daily sprinkle of these superfoods, and you have a hidden recipe for strokes, dizziness, memory decline, and overnight emergencies. The scariest part is that almost nobody talks about this. Seniors are encouraged to eat more seeds without any warnings, and many proudly add them every single day, thinking they are doing the right thing. But the truth is, what protects a 30-year-old body can overwhelm a 70-year-old. 1. That's why awareness is so important. It's not about fear. It's about making choices that protect your independence and your future. Stroke is not just a statistic. It's losing the ability to speak, walk, or recognize your loved ones. And if something as tiny as a handful of seeds could tilt the odds, you deserve to know it. You deserve to decide whether that sprinkle on your breakfast is worth the gamble. So ask yourself, are these seeds truly helping you, or are they another hidden threat dressed up as health food? Share your story because other seniors need to hear it too. And stay tuned because in the next video, we're going to uncover even more everyday foods that look safe on the outside but may be putting your brain and heart in danger without you ever realizing it.